Fans, we welcome you back to another episode of San Diego Prep Insider. I am Christian Pedersen. Welcome to the Baseball Finals edition. I'm joined in studio by Dave Ring at DR Player Development on Twitter, on Instagram. Dave normally does his dingers. If you have them game by game, you're welcome to. This is really meant to be a playoff-focused edition of breaking down the success of each of these teams that are remaining in the chase. We're joined, as always, on the Zoom by SD Preps himself, Bodie De Silva. Bodie's with Scorebook Live, the official digital content provider of all things CIF. Make sure you download their app for scores and results. Make sure you follow Bodie's previews online for all the brackets. He has a ton of in-depth stuff that you need to check out. Bodie, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Finally, we have Tommy Morris at Real Tommy Morris on Twitter, on Instagram. He is an influencer of many varieties. And Tommy, are we able to disclose your new varsity position on the show?
Yeah, I'm coaching La Jolla High next year.
Woo!
Ooh.
Let's go. He's going to look good in
Well,
red
there
and black.
comes with one caveat, actually.
Yeah.
I was told by Coach Roach, I had to tell you this, that there is an alumni game, I believe it's on the 6th, I'll double check, and you have to play.
In pads?
No, it's not
In pads, or I won't play.
I'll tell you.
Break out the old.
I believe it's the 3rd. No, I think it's the 3rd. Let me double check.
Yeah, basically, I have reached the point where I want to be the Rock in what's the one where he works at the teen facility as the mentor, and he teaches them how to be a football team, and to like prove the discipline to them. Bodie, you're the stat guy. Look that up. Google it. But yeah, I want to be the one where he comes out like the 35-year-old dude in pads and just starts rocking people's world. I want to get one good hit over the middle still. No, I'm down. Yes, I will absolutely be there, Tommy. Thank you. Appreciate it. Guys, baseball season has not disappointed in the playoffs so far. We are in the semifinals and or finals round at the point of recording this on Wednesday morning. We're going to do a sort of look at each one of the brackets, and hypothetically, if we're not at the finals yet, we will reach out, project out to see what we can do in terms of predicting, because only Division 5 is for sure. Everything else has a play-in game today that's going to decide one and or two of the slots. Guys, let's start with that Division 5 bracket, though, because we do have our pair of teams, and we'll go to the big board here. We have Palo Verde. We have Lincoln. We kind of spoke, 2 weeks in a row of speaking it into existence with great athletes, and we were talking about Lincoln last week being a surprisingly athletic baseball team. So I got to assume that the room is going to go Lincoln here, but Dave, let's start with you.
Oh, yeah, man. I got to go. Is it Hornets?
They are the Hornets.
Yes. I knew it. Okay, Hornets, Marquise Lewis. Yeah, man. These guys rake, and they're throwing the ball well. Daniel Escalona, he's getting on base. Unreal. Yeah, I got Lincoln all day here.
Bodie, Tommy?
Yeah, I'll go Lincoln as well. I think what's really impressive, they lost 8 of 9 to start the year, and then league play came around. They went 11-1 in the Central League, and I mean, they haven't lost since. It's been exactly 1 month since they last lost a game. So the way this team's playing, I will not pick against them. From Palo Verde's point of view, they're playing well. They got it done in a game against Calipatria, a team who they'd lost 3 times against, but hard to pick against Lincoln. I think they take D5.
Tommy?
Yeah, I like Lincoln. I think they had one major reinforcement kind of show up midway through the season to boost that lineup a little bit, if I'm not mistaken. So I like the Hornets in this one. This is a team that is due for a baseball title, excuse me.
All right. Room seems
also 11-1 in league. Been good all year. So
there you go. Been good all year. 11-1 in league. Lincoln. I think Lincoln winning one here is just further proof as to why the division system does work in everything other than football. Everyone complains about it. Maybe also basketball, it can have its oopsie moments in terms of how to bracket people, but you see all these sports where schools win the right level championship for their right skill amount, and this is going to be a huge
Lincoln
moment.
Is hype, bro.
This is going to be a huge moment for their program to take what it should be a larger, more successful athletic base and find a way to get them more interested in baseball, I think.
I agree.
On to the Division 4. Let me go ahead and post these brackets up here onto the screen for everybody. Fallbrook and Oceanside are going to play in a play-in game. We also have Mission Bay has already advanced to the title game after beating the brakes off of San Ysidro yesterday. So Mission Bay is in. Fallbrook and Oceanside duking it out in a play-in game. Tommy, Bodie, we'll start on the Zoom. Either one of you guys want to take a shot at this one first?
Sure.
You got it.
Yeah. Oceanside over Mission Bay was my original pick. One of the few brackets that have actually gone the way I thought it would. And a little bit of a surprise yesterday. I did not expect Oceanside to lose to Fallbrook, but they did lose to him once in league play during the year. So Fallbrook clearly had some confidence. I think Oceanside gets him in this revenge game. I don't want to change my pick because I did take Oceanside, but I think Mission Bay, the way they're coming in, they're going to get tomorrow off, coming in fresh to Friday's game. I think this can be a really good game. I'll still stick with Oceanside. I think their pitching will get them there, but Mission Bay, really good team playing their best ball.
Yeah, I see O-side taking it to Fallbrook in this last game here. Like I said, they're on a roll. One loss doesn't do much for a good, solid team that's been on a roll. So O-side and Mission Bay.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I agree, kind of almost exactly with Bodie. I hate agreeing so much with everybody, but it's what I got. Fallbrook pitched Jay Cervantes yesterday. He was the guy who beat Oceanside during the regular season. He beat him again yesterday. He's not going to be available, I don't believe, to pitch in this rubber match here to get to the championship game. So Oceanside, I think, has got a good shot here at making it to the finals, and then when they get there, advancing. But also good to see Mission Bay in the divisional finals. Good season for the Buccaneers.
Fallbrook. I mean, we haven't really talked about them that much this year. I mean, we got to give them some love. I mean,
yeah, they had to win a play-in game too to just get here. So
Evan Thomas, Jackson Dent, Jarrell, Villanueva. Man, these guys can hit. Stoked on them this year.
Are we all good on the Division 2 bracket?
I thought you were going to do like
brackets?
I thought you were going to do like a dinger sound right after that.
Oh, no, sorry.
I was waiting for a sound effect.
No, I was too busy cycling through Bodie, trying to get Bodie onto camera and then you onto camera as we all went through this real quickly.
The fun thing about being on the Zoom is I get kind of like the editorial view because I only see Christian's face. So I'm seeing him trying to do 8 things at once, and it's kind of entertaining. I'm not going to lie.
Well, that's I eventually we got to figure out how to get the iPad connected also to the Zoom because it dials you in a little bit better, not just having Dave come across as the voice of God. But yeah, I'm sure that.
But Dave is the baseball voice of God. So
it's true. It is very nice.
The voice of the God of hitting.
The voice of the God of hitting. On to this is Division 3 now. We got RBV, Mar Vista on one side of the play-in. We got Olympian and Maranatha Christian on the other side of the play-in. So a potential of bunches of permutations here on what the finals could look like. I will let's do this one, bracket by one, Bodie, your take on both games, who you think will win each, who you goes to the finals. Tommy, your take on both games, who you want to win. Dave, your take on both games. Understand? Makes sense. Dave, we'll go with you first, please.
Yeah, I think RBV's got a really good shot here. I mean, they're primed with pitching right now to play deep here. And then on the other end of the bracket, who do we got again, Christian?
We got Olympian and Maranatha.
Oh, it's Maranatha. That's right.
Natha
Nasty. So, I mean, that was my pick because I got those guys rolling. They're hitting over there. I'm going to go with the hitters at Maranatha against the pitching, over the pitching at Olympian in this bracket.
Okay, so you got Maranatha then going into the finals, and you have, you said you have RBV in that top half? So
RBV, Maranatha.
Maranatha. Out of that RBV, Maranatha, do you have one of those as a favorite for your championship?
Yeah, I do really think it's a Cinderella year for Maranatha, and I think that this is their year. They've got the MVP. He rakes. We all know who it is. So I'm going to take Maranatha in this bracket.
I love that. That's a great soundbite. That's going to play wonderfully on social media. Bodie, your take on, we'll start RBV Mar Vista.
Yeah, I am realizing that I have another championship alive. So on RBV, I will take them. They were my original pick to make it to the championship. They struggled early on. Mar Vista came in and beat them in that first round game, but I think they kind of pulled back yesterday. They're going to get another chance to take them on today. On the lower side, Maranatha was my pick to win the whole bracket, despite being the 10th seed. They made me look good last week. They made me look good last week, 3-0. They had to go to Olympia yesterday. They lost. They get another chance to do it again today, which brings up a whole rule thing that was talked about at a game yesterday, which I'll run by you guys there at the end. Ultimately, Maranatha over RBV, that was my pick. I got to stick with it.
Hell yeah, you got to stick with it. That's great. A 10 seed doing you solid. Let's go. That's why he gets paid the big bucks. Tommy Morris, your take on RBV Mar Vista and Olympian Maranatha Christian.
So I'm going to take RBV at the top. And then this is a very interesting matchup because I don't think I've seen this in a very long time, at least. This is the third time that Maranatha and Olympian will play each other in this playoffs alone. Not just this season, but in this playoffs alone, because they had to play in the beginning then.
Oh, dang.
A game that Maranatha
Same
won.
thing with
Then
RBV Mar Vista.
They've
It's
both
the
played
rare,
4 times.
Rare one in the same bracket.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So I've never. That's what I was getting to. Sorry, I've never seen this before. They just keep. It's like the same teams playing each other over and over and over again. Would be cool maybe in the future to see a swap somehow. I don't know if that can be done, but Maranatha did not pitch Levi Ham yesterday. I believe he should be allowed to pitch today because the last time he pitched, I believe, was Wednesday against Olympian in a win. So I like Maranatha in this one. I like RBV overall to win the whole thing, but I like Maranatha today in the semifinal game.
I like the concept of this as being a pair of best of 3 series you had to play while also just doing scrimmages. Like this makes them more badass and hardworking than MLB players, because MLB players wouldn't just play a best of 3 series and then also have to go play some college teams on the side. Like, this is nuts. You're right that they're statistically so unlikely.
Did you go? You know, RBV has a guy named Tiger on their team.
No. Is that supposed to be
That's
like,
kind of fun. Tiger Green is his name. It's kind of like
supposed to be like an intimidation factor or an
like,
X factor? Like, you just put Tiger into any situation and something's gonna happen.
It's kind of like a baseball golf name together instead of Tiger Woods.
Okay.
This guy's. I don't know. I'm looking up the stats for RBV right now. I think that should be your next Twitter question.
Do you use wood for bats?
None of these kids do.
Exactly.
Would you rather use wood
100% no.
than a metal bat in general? Well, it's time. Most of these guys are switching to wood bats now, so they're stoked. It's wood bat time. Summer baseball.
Should
after
high school
playoffs.
use wood bats? Does Mr. Hitting Guru?
Well, I mean,
that's so expensive.
there's ways to do it because we have composite wood bats now. So, yes, I mean, there should be some of that maybe in some areas for sure. I think it's a great idea. The composite wood bats play really well, and just for me, it develops a better hitter when you're constantly being aware of the barrel and the sweet spot always. So, Tiger Green, baby, 600 on base percentage.
Okay.
If your name's Tiger, should you play golf or baseball? I was just trying to give you like a Twitter question.
I like that. We haven't veered to we haven't veered into our poll game as much as we do, because you are right that Bodie ultimately does have the good ones, and we got to just defer to him on this one. As we go to Division 2,
let's do it.
Watching,
Dude,
got
this
CCA punched their ticket yesterday against Parker. They are into the finals, and then on the bottom we got Del Norte Montgomery playing one more to get there. So CCA Canyon Crest, they are in after a win on the road at Parker, and then Del Norte Montgomery is the game.
Fantastic game for Del Norte yesterday. I mean, they came out and shut down Montgomery. Their backs against the wall. I mean, they had to win. They got to win the 2 out of the 3. So they got to win 2 in a row, basically. And, they had Chris DePrima on the mound. I think I saw he threw like 5 innings of just shutout ball. Jaron Jaffe had a huge RBI. I think DJ Cardinal hit a bomb, which if you've ever played at Montgomery, like the wind blows in from left field. So like to hit a bomb at left field, you got to hit it through the wind. There's no like cheat home runs. So this ball was absolutely teed on. If you think of like a golf shot, like teed.
You're trying to really merge those two today. I like
Guys,
it. I'm
on a whole nother level today.
Did you just play so much golf this weekend that you've just like
I
got that
was
in your...
in the golf capital of the world, so yes.
Nice.
Yes, it was fun.
Scotland.
So yeah. So in this pick, I've got
I love you guys.
I've got Del Norte upsetting Montgomery 2 games in a row here, and taking it to the finals.
Let's see if this is another situation. Is this game 3 of them playing in these playoffs?
This is game. This
Yes,
would be
this is
game 3.
Three of them
Correct.
playing again in these playoffs. That's nuts. Okay, this is insane.
So this is really fun, I think. It's going to come down to Del Norte seniors getting the job done. And at the end of the bracket, congrats to Canyon Crest. Christian was at the game. They had a ton of home runs.
The game was insane. They were down 4-0 at the end of the first, and they just smashed their way back into it.
Parker's home run fence in center field might need to get changed like Baltimore. They might like the Baltimore fence.
Well, they either have to put the bleachers to use and let people sit out there.
It's fun though, man. I think if someone
235 feet to center is fun.
Let the bleachers be in play. Let the bleachers be in play.
It's fun when you get rewarded for hitting a ball to center. Sometimes you hit a ball 398 feet to center and it gets caught.
We'll put that in the poll. Should the bleachers at Francis Parker be in center?
And if the ball gets stuck up there, there's no putting your hands up. The kid has to run up and go get it. So it could be like a crazy, like inside the park home run situation.
Center field. You can find all our polls at SD Prep Insider on Twitter.
Just need like a 20-foot net, and they're good, man. Got to hit it a little higher. But I love how hitters get rewarded for hitting hard balls to center field. Like I said, how many times does a hitter get kind of, the short end of the stick? He hits the ball 390 to left center, and the guy tracks it down when that ball would be 20 rows into the seats in left field. So, those come in handy sometimes, and it also can, I played at smaller fields, and from my experience as a hitter, you almost try to do too much when you go to fields like that. You're like, oh my gosh, the field's so short, right? And then your swing's crap. So you got to give credit to these guys for just keeping a good approach, staying through the middle. They were on time. Lots of home runs to the middle of the field is to me, good swing. So rewarded for that, and should be interesting to see if Canyon Crest can shut down, the offense, the next offense they face here.
Tommy, your thoughts on this series? Because that's what we're calling these now. These are series. These are just
these series.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to talk about this. Yeah. So here's what I like about Montgomery. They proved a lot to me this postseason because they keep winning these games, these low-scoring games, kind of the grind them out games. And I think that bodes well in a situation kind of like what Dave's saying, where it gets in your head, where it's like, okay, this is kind of every at-bat feels like do or die when you're in a semifinals elimination game. So I like Montgomery in the bottom half just because I feel like all these really close games that they've been playing in the postseason. I mean, if you look at it, they won. Where are they? They won 3-2. Then they won 2-1. Then they lost yesterday 2-0. So all the games have been close. They're used to that. I like how that will bode well for them. So I will take Montgomery in the bottom. But I do think, like you said, Canyon Crest already punched their ticket to the finals, and they didn't use their punch-out king and Sam Garawal. He will be ready to go. I don't think he's pitched since the 18th. If my notes are correct, which means he will have had 9 days off, which is plenty of rest. So he should be able to go all 7 if they need him in the finals, which is he's arguably the best pitcher in the county. So I like Canyon Crest to get out of this bracket as a champion.
Just mentioning Sam Garawal, and I would like to jump in and say that, first off, I have always liked to fight and die on this hill that baseball players are athletes too. But just looking at Sam specifically and the Canyon Crest team in general, without knowing anything about their athletic dispositions, I would venture to say that this year's class would have been an okay CCA football team. Like, put them in like D4, they'd have been contenders. They'd have been really good. That's a huge. Those guys are physically large. Those are big swings, big arms. That CCA team looks really, really good. We also put it on the poll, Dave, to follow up your question. Are you a man's man if you hit one out at left at Montgomery? Bodie, did
into the wind?
Bodie, did we get you on this one?
No. So my bracket in this one is officially dead because I had Parker beating Mission Hill. So on the top side here, Canyon Crest, I mean, obviously they're already in. And as Tommy mentioned, yes, I can confirm it will be Sam Garawal. They did not pitch him yesterday. He's come back a little bit back to earth from the unbelievably start he had this season. But if you want a guy in the playoffs, that would be pretty much everyone's choice to start this game. So it'll be tough whether it is Del Norte or Montgomery. I'll ride with Del Norte here. I think the hot hand already having taken down Montgomery, and Montgomery, as Tommy said, that just throughout the year and throughout the years, they just don't play high scoring games. So if Del Norte can get a couple runs across early, I think that bodes well. But ultimately, Sam Garawal on the mound. I like Canyon Crest in the championship.
I've really heard a lot of buzz around the town. I mean, I get to talk a lot of people that go to games, and they there's been a lot of people that have told me how good Montgomery really is. You know, these teams, when they've compared them, hey, we played RB, we've played so-and-so, and we've played Montgomery, and Montgomery is...
Just this year? It's just started?
Your
buzz is just this year.
I'm hearing a lot of buzz this year from people that are coming back and being like, man, they are solid. So I wouldn't be surprised if today's going to be
because I feel like every
3-2, 2-1 game, like you said.
Because I feel like every single year that we have done this show, there has always been one kid guaranteed from Montgomery who's in our conversations every single week on every single podcast.
Yeah, they've been good last couple of years
because
for sure.
of steals or because of strikeouts or because of doubles or because of low ERA. Like I want it very clearly stated that this show has long been invested in. Montgomery's a very good baseball team, and this is not us latching on to some
totally.
No, and I'll just add one. Adrian Herrera this year no-hit Eastlake to win a league championship. I mean, that is an incredible moment for them. So
let's get to Eastlake though. D1, we will go away from my face. As Tommy says, he gets this view all the time. We go Grossmont and Cathedral Catholic. The one that you guys as a room all agreed was maybe the quote-unquote underdog dark horse of any playoff right now. And then Carlsbad, Eastlake, as I mentioned, on that second game. Dave, we'll start with you. Grossmont, Cathedral, Carlsbad, Eastlake. Those four are left in the Division I race. What do we got?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Cathedral was going to keep on a roll here, and I really see that some of their solidity as a crew. I mean, if you look at the senior class, they're all buddies. I mean, they really are, and they've got a really good group of young guys, which is it's impressive to watch. So I do think I'm going to take Cathedral in this end of the bracket because of the fact that I think some of their seniors are going to just band together this game. It's going to be one of those like all in. One of your seniors is going to come up with a clutch hit, and I think that's how Cathedral's going to roll. On the other end of the bracket, what was it again, Christian?
Eastlake, Carlsbad.
So, I mean, I think Eastlake, we can't count them out. Wow.
Yeah, and another one that's a 3-game series.
That's awesome. Well,
it's carnage. That's absolute destruction. That's a Michael Bay film.
Exactly what we said in the beginning. I mean, North County versus South County. I don't think I've seen a time where Carlsbad has really been this deep into a bracket and had a chance to face a team that's got a lot of experience. So I'm going to take Eastlake because of the experience in this situation. Should be an interesting final if we go with Eastlake as the winner here.
Tommy, Bodie.
I told you about Cathedral, didn't I? I thought I warned you. No, I mean, you see this a lot in the playoffs, especially in baseball. I don't know what baseball and basketball, I guess football maybe not so much, but when a team has a disappointing beginning of the year, they kind of stay in a lull the whole season long. And then when they get to the playoffs, it's kind of like, okay, this is a chance to basically erase everything that we just did. And nothing matters to win a championship. And I think that was kind of what I thought would happen with Cathedral, and it seems like that is. Again, they had to do the playing game. You know what I mean? So they had an extra game coming into it. They could have gotten back on the game track, if that makes any sense, by winning against Grossmont yesterday. Unfortunately, they're going to have to play again. I do think they're going to win this one. We'll see how the pitching holds up, because that means that they've had to play I guess it'll end up only being one extra game, but they could have gotten themselves back on track with the same amount of games. I know it's kind of talking roundabout, but basically what I'm saying is it's almost like a mini rotation in the playoffs, and they would have gotten back on track with whoever they're going to play. Now they're going to be one pitcher behind, if that makes any sense. So I like, oh man, on the bottom half of the bracket, I kind of want to go with Carlsbad here. Carlsbad had a really, really tough schedule. Their league schedule was not great, but similar thing. Time to erase it once you get to the playoffs. They did. I think it ends up being Cathedral Carlsbad, and I think Cathedral wins the whole thing.
Bodie.
It's all about when you get hot, man.
I'll actually end up going the opposite there. So up on the top, I mean, I think yesterday was Cathedral's chance. They really needed to get it. They get, 16 hits, 14 hits and 6 walks, and still lose by 4. I think that's a really bad sign. Grossmont can always rake at home, and especially with both teams with lesser pitching going again today, I'm going to take Grossmont on this one. They just always find a way to hit, and especially hit for power at home. Baron Zamora, River, Diaz de Leon. And then on the bottom, I have a hard time thinking Carlsbad can win again at Eastlake. I know they did yesterday. I think Eastlake gets it together, wins that one. And I will take Eastlake over Grossmont in the Division I championship.
Is this one at UCSD this year?
No, yes, these are UCSD this year. I love the potential for a rematch. If it's up a division, if it's down a division, if it's left, right, or the same a division, Grossmont and Eastlake meeting again in a finals after last year's game, that'd be great. Love that. Hell yeah. Give me all of that. Give me 10 out of 10 of that. On to the open division. Torrey Pines, LCC, they got to square off with Granite Hills. Torrey Pines, LCC. What do we got in the consensus of the room? Dave, I remember when you walked in here and saw that on the brackets, you were like, well, if they got to win one more. What were you lamenting there in that game?
Well, I still think what we said earlier as far as Torrey Pines pitching, I mean, they've got so many horses that they can keep going to. So if one guy's used, they can go to another guy. I've got to take Torrey Pines here. They were my favorite to make it through the whole bracket. I think, Eric Van Valkenburg might be one of the best pitchers in the county, and, he's going to get a chance to go at least one time in these next couple games here. So, with that being said, Torrey Pines is lined up exactly how they want to be lined up. I think their chance to get to the end of the bracket here is high. So Torrey all the way, and then what we got on the other side again?
Granite Hills.
So and
they are already in. So we got so you're saying Granite, Torrey, who got
Torrey, and then I'll go with Granite to finish. Granite, number one team in the county. Clearly, I think it's going to show
because of their arm management and their pitch count ability.
Kind of. No, because of their because of their
you're the best
ability to hit high level pitching when it means something.
The intern's saying, "Don't say anything. Don't say anything. You'll get in trouble."
Are you done with your bone? You done with your bone?
We'll
you made it through the whole show.
The intern waited till open division to be almost done with the bone. Intern gets real frustrated when Tommy's not here. Intern has not physically harassed anybody in a couple of weeks. Quite like she's
except for me.
She always inflicted actual physical harassment on Tommy. Guys, let's hear from the Zoom. What do we got right now between Bodie and Tommy for Granite and then LCC Torrey?
Well, for LCC Torrey, I'll start with there because Granite's already in. Ronnie Cholke looks like he's going to be able to pitch because he hasn't pitched since the 18th. So I'd be very shocked if we don't see him. He has faced Torrey Pines 2 times this year and has won both times. I don't know if he's a pitcher of record, but they won 2 times when he was pitching. I think he was technically only 1-0 in those games, but that was a 5-1 win and a 4-0 win. So he can hold the Falcons to a low amount of runs. So I like LCC to get out of the bottom half of the bracket. Granite Hills is going to win this thing, I think, when it comes to the finals, because this extra game, I think, will take a lot out of LCC as far as pitching-wise. Having used arguably their best starter, and then potentially having used some guys out of the bullpen that they probably were trying to save to do a combined game for that finals. So I like Granite to win the whole thing, but I like LCC to come out of that bottom half of the bracket.
Bodie De Silva from Scorebook Live, bring us on home.
Yeah, this bracket's actually worked out a little bit how I thought. My original pick was Granite Hills over Torrey Pines. That is still alive. I will take Torrey Pines on top to beat Lacoste. It'll be Lacoste's 5th game in the last week tomorrow. The pitching is really just hanging on. I do expect, like Tommy said, Ronnie Chetke to get the start. He threw the first 4 innings when they no-hit them in league play last week. From Torrey Pines' point of view, they started Grayson Bonanno yesterday to kind of have the top guys available if they were to win. That did not happen, so I expect Eric Van Valkenburg to take that start tomorrow. He is as fiery as you will see on the mound. I think that they will get enough runs, and he will keep Lacoste off the scoreboard enough. And then ultimately, I picked Granite. They've been number 1 for much of the season. No reason to go against them here. They're going to be fresh. They get a couple days off, and Granite Hills over Torrey Pines is my final pick.
Money.
Anything that we need to get to remaining from the week of high school sports here in San Diego? Go ahead, Bodie.
The one thing I will add, just it got a little bit with all the sports all being pushed together at the end of last year. Obviously, baseball and softball have regional playoffs now. This is kind of a year where we can focus on them. And I think it's a time for San Diego teams to really do well. It ends up being a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. It's just Southern California regional. So for open division, all the teams that are semifinalists and finalists are in. So that's RB, Torrey, La Costa, Granite. In Division 1, it's the champion and runner-up, and then 2, 3, 4, and 5, it's just the champion. So we'll have a lot of San Diego teams involved. What that's
Bodie, you
10?
you have to be
Yeah.
Bodie, you have to sit second seat on the bandwagon there. I've been in on us dominating at baseball on the state level for a long time. I'm very excited to charge through the breach. I don't think that like I'm gonna necessarily unleash a torrent of like anti Connor Morissette tweets. But I think there's some people up in the LA Southern section that don't know what's coming for them. Like, I think we got some really good baseball here, and I am very ready to go to war with the Southern California elite big schools. Like, okay, great, you can beat us in everything else, but get out of here with baseball. We run this freaking state. We run the world in baseball. Just see, like, with Calvin Mitchell making it. Calvin Mitchell was a source of content for us for 3 years of varsity home runs, just always hitting them on some great RB teams. Now, as of it was yesterday, 2 days ago, that he's been called up to the Pirates.
So cool.
Yeah, already got his first hit yesterday, so awesome.
Let's go. Thank you as always to the U.S. Marines for their support of the show. If that is everything, I will say go check out everything from SD Preps and SB Live CA, so you can also follow along when the other championship games are. We still got softball to go this weekend as well. Everyone, go check out a game, and then we'll come back with football next time. No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna take the summer
all 12 championships, baseball and softball, will all be on campus at UCSD. So.
It's gonna be nuts.
Have a good summer, everyone.
Let's go. No, Dave, we're gonna come back for one more episode after this to do. We got to do our fantasy. We didn't do our fantasy draft teams this year.
Deal.
So we'll give out that and some postseason awards. Alrighty, everybody. I hope you guys have a great, safe weekend. We'll talk to you soon.